The #1 way to make yourself look radiant and youthful is to have even, glowy skin. But the foundation game can be a tricky game as we get older. What used to work no longer works. If we choose glowy, then we're creasy. If we want to prevent creasing with powder, then we look dry, patchy, and wrinkly. So what the heck are we supposed to do now? Today I'm going to share with you some amazing tips to help your foundation look smooth, natural, and even, no matter what your age. No filters or skin softening of any kind has been used in this video. Let's go. Let's start with the foundation of great makeup application, and that is, of course, hydration, right? As we get older, especially during or after menopause, the skin loses a lot of moisture, and that can make foundation look very dry and patchy, or it will make it settle into those fine lines and wrinkles a lot. So my first tip is to start with very deeply hydrated skin. Anywhere that you have crepiness, like under the eyes, or wherever you have lines, like on the forehead or around the eyes, nasolabial folds, those areas need to be really deeply hydrated before you even think about applying makeup. Skin prep really is everything when it comes to mature makeup application. That's why I talk about it so much in all of my videos. So for this video, I'm very excited to partner with Dermelect because I'm such a huge fan of the skincare line. I've talked about it several times on the channel in many unsponsored videos, and it really is such an honor now to have them sponsor this video. A product that is really incredible for hydration and sits beautifully under makeup is the Dermelect Rapid Repair Barrier Balancing Serum. What's great about this product is that it's designed to really tackle those signs of aging, like dullness, redness, fine lines, and wrinkles. And if you stick with it for a while, you'll start noticing smoother texture and just an overall gorgeous glow. It's that kind of luminosity that just makes your skin look more youthful and healthy. What's really impressive about this specific product too, my favorite thing about it, is that it's just so calming. So if you have sensitive skin or you deal with redness, this is such a soothing product. And for those of you in colder climates like us Canadians, where your skin is just constantly battling dryness, this serum works wonders to keep your barrier hydrated and happy. Plus, it absorbs so well. There's no stickiness. It's just an instant glow, and you can see that on my model today, right? It's honestly just like a little luxury in a bottle. With that said, it's also very important to really hydrate under the eyes and let that moisture sink in before using any kind of concealer product. So for the under eyes, I like using the Dermelect Eyelid and Dark Circle Corrector, which is another one of my favorite products from them. And then for the neck and the décolleté, I use the Esteem Neck Firming Lift Cream. After you get your hydration products on, you'll of course want to go in with a really high quality SPF and then wait a few minutes for everything to absorb. Then you can move on. You can really see how different my client Sarah's skin looks here without skin prep and then with great skin prep. She was gorgeous before, but she already looks so much better and we don't even have makeup on her yet. Tip #2 is to color correct and to keep it light. You know what I've been realizing as I've gotten older? When it comes to day-to-day complexion makeup, less is definitely more. The lighter your foundation, the less it settles into fine lines. But here's the thing, an even complexion is key to looking youthful. The more even, the more glowy, hydrated your skin looks, the more youthful you look because the more your skin looks like the skin of people who are young, right? So how do we get that smooth, even, glowy look without piling on the product and without having a crease? That's when we say hello to color correctors. Color correctors are your new best friend. Color correctors are little magic wands for your skin. They work by using the theory of complementary colors. Basically, colors opposite each other on the color wheel cancel each other out. So to neutralize blue under eye circles or to neutralize sunspots or age spots, you're gonna wanna reach for a peach or a salmon shade. If you've got redness around your nose, a blemish, some redness around the cheeks, you're gonna wanna reach for a green. The trick to using color corrector as well is to use a tiny amount of product in the problem areas only, blend it into the skin with your fingers or a brush, and then stipple your foundation on top of it. You will be amazed if you try it. You'll need way less foundation. Your skin will look so much more even and so natural. Tip #3 is to use the right tools with the right techniques. The tool you use really does make all the difference in the finish. For mature skin, a damp beauty sponge works really well because it helps press that foundation into the skin and into the fine lines. And it's the easiest and the least expensive tool you can buy that leads to a natural, but also a covered, kind of dewy finish result. Of course, there are so many incredible complexion brushes. I talk about them all the time, but this option is definitely the most budget-friendly one to get a makeup artist level finish. Now, if you're new to using a sponge like this, here's a quick tip. Okay, you're gonna wanna run it under water, squeeze it open and close quite a few times. This makes it expands, it softens it up quite a bit, so then it's ready to do its magic. Once it's doubled in size, feels nice and squishy and soft, you're gonna wanna squeeze out all that extra water, and then you're good to go. If your skin is extra dry, you can even spray like a hydrating beauty mist right into your sponge, like the Butter Spray Serum or the Caudalie Beauty Elixir, and that's going to infuse the foundation with even more moisture. When it comes to working under the eyes, my tool of choice is almost always my fingers. The warmth of your finger and the patting motion, it actually does an incredible job of building up coverage. Try to be modest with the amount of concealer that you use under the eyes. Less is definitely more here, okay? It really is. Even if you like full glam, as you get older, less concealer under the eyes is better. If you find, even with a little bit of concealer, it's still kind of settling in those deeper lines, after you apply it, you correct the darkness, you can grab a Q-tip and then gently remove some of that excess product that's bunching up in those specific areas. If you guys wanna know what my favorite concealer is for battling dark circles without settling into wrinkles, I actually did a whole video about that. So I'll leave that linked in the pinned comment for you, and you can watch it after this one if you wanna learn more. Tip number 4 is to mix for your needs. Say it with me now. I do not need 15 foundations in my drawer. I don't know if I'm saying that for you or for me. But honestly, makeup addiction aside, we all know that I have a makeup addiction. Maybe you do too. But makeup addiction aside, as a working makeup artist, I only carried 2 formulas in my kit. I carried a super long wear, full coverage, satin matte finish formula, which was Estee Lauder Double Wear. That was great for bridal clients. And then I also carried a light medium glowy finish, more luminizing formula, which was Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk. Everything else I custom made for my clients. So if you want the long wear finish of Estee Lauder Double Wear, for example, but it's feeling a little heavy that day, you can add a drop of tinted moisturizer to it. Or you can mix it 50-50 with a light coverage foundation that you also love, right? That way it's not full coverage, it's not light coverage, you're making something in between yourself. Another way to sheer out a fuller coverage formula is to do what I did during this makeup application, and that is to mix 1 drop of facial oil to it. Here I mixed the RMS Cakey Beauty Oil into the Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation, and the coverage, as you can see, was flawless. It was beautiful. If you want to add even more luminosity to a matte or a satin finish formula, you can also add a drop of liquid highlighter, right? Like the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter or the e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid Filter. I really encourage you guys to buy a makeup artist mixing palette on Amazon, even if you're not a makeup artist, because if you have a palette, you can start creating the formulas that you want. You can get the most out of each product you own. That way you can buy less products overall, right? But you can create way more looks with what you already have. Tip number 5 is to use powder very strategically. Powders can be tricky for mature skin because if they're applied incorrectly, they can emphasize fine lines and wrinkles. They can look very aging. Powder can be very aging on mature skin, but there is so much more to powder than just that blanket statement. And I think a lot of makeup artists, myself included, have talked so negatively about powders in the past that now everyone's really scared to use them over the age of like 45. Powders really are essential because they prolong your makeup wear time. They stop products from creasing or smudging. They also blur the skin, especially large pores. They blur it out significantly. The key when you're using powders on mature skin is to use the right powders and to place them in the right spots. In general, loose powders are much more finely milled than pressed powders, and they're a lot harder to overdo. So if you can only get one, get a loose powder over a pressed powder. When you're using a powder, you're gonna wanna set the areas that are prone to unflattering shine, right? That's the T-zone, and then also the areas that heavily crease, like the nasolabial folds, under the eyes. When setting under the eyes, make sure to apply only a small amount of the most finely milled powder in pressing not rubbing motions. My favorite brush to set under the eyes with is BK Beauty N14. It's got that perfect domey shape, that small domey shape for that area. It deposits just enough powder to set without completely over drying. If you're the type of person that doesn't like a matte effect at all, you can also set with a powder that has luminosity in the formula. So Sweet just came out with one recently called the Miracle Powder that leaves a glow to the skin. Just keep in mind that there is a give and take with everything. Because you're getting glow, you will be getting less pore blurring. Okay, one way to get around this is to set with a mattifying powder first in areas that have large pores, usually around here. And then you can dust a luminizing powder with a fluffy brush all over the face to bring that kind of glow back to life. If you guys are interested in an entire video about my favorite powders to use on mature skin, just let me know in the comments below. If I get enough comments about it, I will definitely make it right away. Tip number 6 is to blur the lines. Literally blur them. Setting spray is gonna be your new best friend when it comes to this tip. Everyone over the age of 40 should have a setting spray, whether it's Urban Decay All Nighter or Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless. I don't care what you get, but get one. I made a video about this too, by the way. I made a whole video about setting spray because it's a whole topic. But anyway, you can watch that later if you want. The point of me saying that is if you notice your foundation settling into lines, a quick spritz of setting spray and a gentle pat with a sponge can work wonders to blur everything out and bring your look back to life. Not only does setting spray lock in your makeup for all day wear, but it's also an amazing midday refresher to keep your skin looking really fresh. If your skin is dry, a hydrating setting spray will bring it back to life. If your skin is oily, an oil control setting spray will help your makeup not separate. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to learn some more tips and tricks, I'm going to leave 2 of the videos that I recommend for you right here. This video's over.